So hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning. Hope everyone is really excited and ready to take this hour and work on your business. I'm going to take you through a content plan and a really cool demo that's going to show you one way, really just one way of how you can prospect on LinkedIn through social selling and also go ahead and build your network. So I took a look at the list of people who were coming today, and it looks like I really have folks from all different lines of businesses, everything from single consultants who are looking to simply build their network, to job hunters, to owners of small businesses who are filling that sales and marketing role, to sales folks who are working in kind of like a mid-sized business, all the way to marketing people. So I'm going to try to speak as broadly as possible while also giving you something you can walk away with at the end of the hour, so that there's clarity of how you can use this tool in a tactical perspective over the course of the next 2 months. So LinkedIn is still kind of like the wild west of social media. If you think about LinkedIn as Facebook was maybe 10 years ago, 9 years ago, remember when they put out business pages and there was this great social and organic reach before the IPO? We're kind of there with LinkedIn. There are a lot of really interesting things that you can do that LinkedIn has not locked down yet because they're still trying to capitalize and get their market share. This is an awesome place for people who are selling on LinkedIn and who can actually develop business and leverage the momentum that the social platform has without those huge budgets that we're looking at now with Facebook. So, I created Paper Sword because, I noticed that most companies are just wasting an enormous amount of money on marketing. I think that if we can build networks and sell to those networks by just adding value to it, we can really win. We don't need to throw huge budgets. For larger organizations, I've noticed that the waste itself normally lies directly inside of the message, right? There's a misalignment when it comes to developing marketing messages. And if you can't understand your customer, their pain, and how to clearly communicate how you can help them solve that pain, no ad spend or SEO work or anything we're going to do today is going to convert. So we're going to spend a little bit of time today on that message because I think that rings through for small companies as well. However, for small organizations, single person shops, it is equally as important to you that you build a network around yourself and add value to that network so you can reap the financial benefits that come from that. So I'm going to teach you kind of how to pair both of those together and execute something that will actually generate you leads in business. Most of you know me. I think that I looked at the list and most of the names were familiar, but if you are new to Paper Sword and our world, my name is Blythe and I'm the owner and managing partner at Paper Sword B2B. We specialize in the Microsoft data platform and Microsoft partners in general, helping them clarify their message and take it to market. We're about a team of 8. We're a full suite agency. We do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn as a result of just our focus. So we're going to start working through a worksheet. If you did not get the email that I sent last night, please go ahead to this bit.ly link and download this worksheet. If you can, print it out. If you can't, that's fine, be eco-friendly. And we'll get started. So before we dive into LinkedIn and talk a little bit more about who you're marketing to, I want to just level set about what the whole purpose of marketing is. I want to bring it up and make it really high level before we dive into your buyers. So there are really only 2 things that you should be doing when you're creating content and placing it in any channel, and that is to help your customer or your buyer survive and thrive. So So tapping into that internal pain, the reason why they need your services is because they need to survive in some way. And this takes us way back to that visceral, almost caveman-like desire to needing to protect yourself and survive in the long term. And we truly live in this distracted generation. And marketing people are convinced that this accelerated period of technological connectedness means that we need complicated frameworks for how we reach people, and we need, like funnels with multiple steps. But really and truly at the heart of what we're trying to do, we just need to connect to our customers' ability to survive and thrive in a modern workplace. And then we need to help them spend the least amount of calories possible. So bringing our message to market as simply as we can while we do that. It is literally that simple. And yes, of course, when you have multiple products and you have multiple price points and things, your marketing plan has, goes omni-channel, it gets a little complicated. But for what we're going to do today, let's keep things to the grunt test, keep things in a survive and thrive attitude. And then as we build our content, you'll kind of see how that takes place. So if you look at your worksheet, we're going to start with building your persona information. Who are your buyers? Now, a lot of you probably already have this information down or you've done it before. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on its head, and we're going to talk about what the pain point of your market is. And so I have two here. I've developed two, Joe and Bev. Joe and Bev are my two favorite people. In our world, in the IT market, we tend to think of, I like to put Bev as a CIO because ladies be hustlers. And I put Joe as the IT director. A lot of folks here are going to be in the same vein. You're marketing to an IT organization. So I would encourage you just to take a minute. I'm going to keep talking about the persona, but I want you to fill this out because this is going to be really important when we start searching for connections on LinkedIn. So I'm going to make it hard for you, and I'm going to make you decide what the industry is and decide what the company size is. And we know most of you are going to know your job titles. I get a lot when I'm doing branding documents for folks. I get a lot of, well, I do database management, or I do open security managed services, and I can do it for any industry. So I just want to focus on the IT director. You have to pick an industry, and you have to pick a company size, because the more laser focused you get on your buyer, easier it is to identify a unique pain point only they are experiencing. And then when you're putting content on LinkedIn, in email, on your website, wherever you put it, into channel, it's going to hit them so much harder, right? And so if you can do managed services to any company, all I'm going to ask you to do is just pick one industry, and we're going to do one campaign to that buyer in that one industry. So let's talk about the internal and external pain. So every buyer essentially has 3 levels of pain. We're going to talk about 2 today. The first is the external pain. So that is exactly what they're feeling inside of their job, whatever's happening on the surface. It could be that performance is slow. It could be that your CRM is messy and there's no golden record. It could be that you don't even know if you have open security risks. You need to pick one pain. If you are VAR, a value-added reseller, and you do a whole bunch of things, you've got security services and infrastructure services and data services, I want you to pick one thing for this specific campaign. You have to get very specific. The internal pain, is how the customer is going to feel. If they can't get on top of their performance issues and they're a DBA, are they at risk at losing their job? Are they at risk at putting their organization at risk if they can't get on top of their Active Directory? And how does that make them feel, right? So it's a little bit of really putting yourself in the customer's shoes. but that's going to create just really good content and marketing. So I've just kind of been blathering on, hoping that you guys were filling this out. I'm going to go ahead and move into a demo. So if you have your persona, the industry that you want to target for this specific campaign, the company size, and you can do, for company size, do number of employees, because that's how LinkedIn measures it. I know some of you do total revenue. Don't even get me started. That's a little confusing from a LinkedIn perspective, but let's use company size as the number of employees for now. Job title, and then the pane. The pane will help us create the message below. So I'm going to move into a demo. This demo is going to have 3 steps. Okay, so the first step is for you folks who are consultants or job hunters, and you're looking to build your network, right? And then we're going to execute a content strategy underneath that. And you're going to start posting, sharing, and engaging, but being very intentional with who you're adding to LinkedIn and how you're adding them. And you're going to use the free tool, the free LinkedIn.com tool. The second level is building a lead list in Navigator. So Sales Navigator is the LinkedIn Premium. It's $80 a month. And that's going to let you do even more searching, filter and advanced searching, and it's going to let you create lead lists. And the third piece is automating your connection requests and your comments and messages. You cannot do level 3 without having Sales Navigator. And so if you're legitimately looking to prospect and sell something on LinkedIn, you really need Sales Navigator, or else you're walking with your hands behind your back. You're just building a network and not able to automate it or segment it. All right. So it's my first demo ever in a webinar. So bear with me here. So we're going to take your worksheet, the persona information that you've done, and I'm going to use Paper Sword as an example. So we market to, can you all see my screen? I hope so. My internet is very slow. One moment.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So this is what I see. This is my home screen when I go onto LinkedIn.com. I'm going to go ahead and through level 1, I'm going to go ahead and build my network. So I've already decided who Bev and Joe are. I know their industry, company size, and job title. Those are my people. And if you have geographic information, so if you're locked to a specific geography, I do all of North America. But if you want to build a network in Vancouver, or you want to build a network only in Canada, or in New York, that's going to be really great for segmenting. So level 1, you're going to go to your network. I'm really worried that my internet. Okay. All right. And you go to your connections here. This demo, I know this is very simple right now, but it's going to get really cool. And so you can search with filters. So because we know who we want to market to, and we're being intentional with that, you can check all filters up here. And you're going to want to go to your second, because your first connections are people you're already connected to. So you're already connected to them. So you can find connections of people you are connected to, which is really helpful for expanding. You can use influencers in your market, and that can really help. Location, we just talked about that. Current companies, if you want to dive and do some account-based marketing inside specific organizations, your industry, so we're going to be in information technology and services. Everybody here is going to be in English. And then that's your, oh, we're going to clear. I was playing with this earlier. Ah, there we go, okay. So that's it. And then you can hit search and you get a list. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So let's say I wanted to, as we market to technology service folks, I don't want to select a specific company, although if Inspire was coming up and I was about to head out and meet with a bunch of Microsoft folks, I might do some connecting beforehand. I definitely just want English, and that's it. So we're going to hit apply, and then it's going to bring me, brings me 41,000 384 results. So you can go through here and you can connect and the trick here is consistency. So if you create 15 minutes for yourself 3 times a week and you're going to go ahead and build your network on LinkedIn organically, this is how you're going to do it. And we're going to talk about building a connection, work with the copy that goes into the connection request. So when I hit connect, this add a note, what should go in here in a moment. All right. So for my purposes, really, this is not enough information. I need to select a company size and a job title, and I want to automate some things. So I'm going to go ahead and open Sales Navigator because you get additional filters. And so Sales Navigator is just going to, I think it's going to open to my home page. This is 100% my internet and not LinkedIn. It does, it already. So what we can do is we can create more searches here. And this is where it starts to get really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to find folks, just for the purposes of this demo. I'm gonna search for leads, accounts, or organizations. So you can search with, there are just so many fields in Sales Navigator you can search for. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and I'll click second degree because I just want to find everybody in LinkedIn. And because PaperSword works with Microsoft partners, I'm going to find folks who are in the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners. This is a really great space for PaperSword specifically to play in. You may be interested in, the SQL Server community. You may be interested in SAP, Oracle. It is the Black Hat just happened if you're in security services, and so this is a great way to filter things down even more. I'm doing this for the purpose of this demo because this is going to give me 218 results. So I'm going to go ahead and click search. All right. So I have a total of 112 results. 63 have posted on LinkedIn in the past 30 days. This is really important because if you've got a larger list, you can filter based on people who are active, and that can really help. So I've got this great list of folks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all. So it's comical. It's like 2005 kind of navigation. And then I'm going to save to a list. I use LinkedIn selling. I sell on LinkedIn quite a bit. I'm going to create a list called the International Association of Microsoft Partners, and however you want. Even if we do industry, company size, and job title, maybe your list is CIOs in manufacturing, right? And so so I can go into my lead lists now. And I'm going to see, I think it'll just be this page. You have to do it based on page. Yeah, it only takes 25. So you have to kind of do page by page. And this is something really, really interesting with Sales Navigator because LinkedIn is setting its entire platform up to be a one-to-one social interaction, like social media. It is not setting things up to make things easy for you to automate. So they want you to go into Tim's account and check out who he is, look at his, and like actually start a legitimate conversation with him. And LinkedIn Sales Navigator wants to lock you into Sales Navigator as much as possible. So they want you to do as much work in LinkedIn as they can make you do. So that's a problem for us when we want to sell and send messages at scale, right? What you can do, and this is level 2, right? That there were 3 levels to this demo. You can just use that lead list you created, and you can connect with each one of them on LinkedIn, You can go ahead and message them once they've accepted, or if you want to use one of your in-mail messages, and you can you can add and remove them to the list and really curate this list. Like, for example, Randy isn't really a good prospect for me because she does talent acquisition. So she's not going to buy marketing services. So I'm going to go ahead and remove her from that list. But Tim would be a great prospect for us because he's a Microsoft partner and he's a business leader. Tim Haley here. So that is number 2. So you can go ahead, build your lead list, and then as you're working through, you legitimately have a list of great people that were filtered and you can work off of. So step 3 is automating all of this. I basically want to add all 24 of these people. I want to connect with them, and I don't want to spend much time doing it. I'm going to send the same message to all of them anyways when I connect. So I'm going to show you how to automate connection requests using a third-party tool. And I'll go over third-party tools in a minute when we go back to the slide deck. So you need to use a third-party tool. I use Octopus CRM. You need to be on a page where all of the accounts are listed. I already have Octopus downloaded to my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. It's going to take a second because there we go. There we go. So I'm not going to do a full demo of Octopus today, but just know that you can automate connecting messaging visits, because you know how you can, like, people can see if you visited, if they have premium, and then you can endorse people in bulk. You can only automate 100 profiles before LinkedIn gets mad at you. Again, because they want it to be a one-to-one thing, and they don't want you to use, like, they don't want like these huge bulk connection requests. It's really meant to be a social tool. So we're going to go ahead and send these to the CRM. We'll see how the internet handles this. Okay, and we're going to open the CRM. This is my Octopus. We are no longer in LinkedIn. Okay. So you'll see that I have 24 new fancy leads here. I'm going to click them all. How many of the launch? I know there are 24. And then you can automate the connection request here. So I've already pre-populated this for the demo. So you can use the first name, last name, company, and position, depending on what you want. And I have best practices for these connection requests in the PowerPoint, but you want like less than 25 words. Do not sell anything when you're trying to connect. This is you building a network so that you can share content and kind of like build a community of people around the conversations you want to have. I want to talk about marketing for Microsoft partners. That's a huge persona for us. And these people, seems like they would be the ones who'd be interested in our content. So we're going to go ahead and launch that. And then honestly, that's it. So I think every minute or every 2 minutes, Octopus will process one connection request. And that just happens in the background while I continue working. So that's a great way to automate things. Octopus is $15 a month. All right, so you're going to be like, you're in for about $100 a month to do social selling on LinkedIn at scale with an automation piece. Now, if you want to just spend the next month, you know, from August 15th to September 15th, this is your month. You're going to build your network on LinkedIn. You're going to make it happen. You can get Sales Navigator for free for a month and Octopus free for 2 weeks. So and you can process and connect with 100 accounts a day with Octopus before they stop you and they say, LinkedIn doesn't like this. So I would get Sales Navigator, spend 2 weeks creating your lead lists, and then bring on Octopus, and then just add 100 people a day. That's what I would. Because you can only process 100 people a day, you don't want lead lists over 100. Because Octopus is kind of weird. I had some lead lists that were 250, and it was really confusing as to who it had added and who it hadn't. So let's go back to PowerPoint. You know, that's the only demo I have for you today. Oh, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. I think I don't have anything on my calendar till about half an hour after the call ends. So once we end the recording, if you want to stick around and see more of anything I've just shown or ask any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. All right. So let's keep going here. We're at the half-hour mark, so exactly where I thought would be, which is great. So I want to talk about sending connection requests. So we've just gone through how the mechanics, the tactical execution of how to use Sales Navigator, how to use lead list. There are a number of different ways you can use it. You can build accounts. You can really see who's connected to who and searching groups and all of this fun stuff. But I wanted to give you one way to use Sales Navigator if you're not already using it, and we've done that. But let's talk about that connection request. So I've already mentioned that you should never sell your services in a connection request. Even if it's really laser targeted, you'll find that as you're adding contacts, even if you're making them personal, like I did, using their first name and saying, hey, I noticed we're both members of this group, or we both have an interest in this topic, I haven't really gotten above 60% accept rates. Some of that, I think, is because a lot of people have their LinkedIn profiles, but they're not actively using LinkedIn as a social network. They're just using it as their resume and never checking it. And that's fine. There are many different ways of using LinkedIn today. And some are because they only want to build their networks with people that they actually personally know. And that's fine too. So if you sell your services in a connection request, we offer this great service for contractors and or general contractors, and I'd love to tell you more about it. I think that we should connect. Your ignore rate will go up, and you want people to accept because then you can personally message them, and you can follow them, and you can like and share their content and work on building a relationship with them. Keep the connection request under 25 words. This is not a place to write a whole big thing. And if you want to write something, you're looking for a partner, you want to be mentored, right? I love your work. Can we grab coffee sometime? Use an in-mail message because that's just much more impactful. And then use personal details in every connection message, whether you're automating or not. I noticed we're both in development in Vancouver. Would love to connect. I noticed that we both went to the University of Texas A&M, and we're in tech. Would love to connect. You've got to build some kind of personal connection. If you're just like hitting connect, I did try that. I've tried everything. It doesn't work, right? If you're trying to build, you've got a number in mind of connections you want to reach, and you're just hitting the connect button, you'll hit like 30-40% accept. And that, honestly, from my perspective, kind of a waste of time because you're building a network of people and they're not targeted to your persona. So I've got the connection copy request here. My recommendation is that however you're going to filter your contacts, whether it's based on industry, whether it's based on the type of service they have, if you've got an idea for an event that just happened, if you're sponsoring a SQL Saturday and you get a list of people at the SQL Saturday and you want to target those people, there's got to be something personal in there. I noticed you were at the SQL Saturday last week. And so when you're writing this connection copy request, just one thing, make it personal. What's next? Oh, here are the third-party LinkedIn account automation tools. I've done the work for you here. I really like Octopus. I've tried 3 of these so far. You can look into them. They're all a little different. Octopus was the only one that let me automate connection requests, build campaigns, and has like a built-in CRM. Some of these are more about connecting it with Pipedrive, so just pushing information back and forth. And some of them they're agencies that have built automation tools inside of their social media management practice. And so you have to buy a package first. I know I'm an agency and I put another agency up here, but you should know the landscape. This is going to change a lot over the next couple of years. We may not even be able to use Octopus in a year, right? Because right now it's building momentum, and we'll see what Microsoft thinks about it. So I have a lead magnet invite copy piece as well. So I'm not going to go through the demo because we honestly just don't have time. But when I was in Octopus, there was a way to automate messages as well as connections. And some of you are honestly, you're probably here because I automated the lead magnet that is this webinar. And I sent you, I connected with you. And then a week later, I sent you a message saying, hey, I'm running this webinar. I thought you'd be interested. I did all of that in Octopus. I sent 100 invites out and I got 25 people from there to register for this webinar, meaning that they gave me their email address. Thank you very much if you hadn't met me before and this is the first time that we're meeting. I think it's really important to do stuff like this. And I want to address it just really quickly because when I say lead magnet, I mean something in your industry, a piece of content, whether it's a webinar, a PDF, a white paper, a video, something that adds value to either Joe or Bev. And it needs to be something that just doesn't sell your services. If any of you want marketing services, you may call me, you know of me. But that's not the purpose of this LinkedIn webinar. The purpose is to share my knowledge with people who can really benefit from it. And so that's kind of the community piece of your network. I'm a really, really big proponent of community, and I think it helps in-mail messages and social selling. It helps move things along. When you give away your advice and your expertise for free, then this lead magnet copy really works. So if you're doing a webinar on SQL Server backup strategies, I do a lot of work in SQL Server. Then just say, hello, first name. I'm running this webinar on backup strategies specifically for small businesses let's say you're looking for a company size of between 11 and 50. We've noticed that our customers have a lot of pain in this way, right? They're not backed up, they're losing data, data's corrupted, they don't have the right strategy. And I'd love to invite you to this webinar. Hope to see you there, and then a link. You can do this, right? When I did it myself, and when I've done it for my clients, yes, I've had some pushback. Like, who are you, and what are you selling me? It's like, well, I'm doing this webinar, and I'm giving my expertise away for free. If you'd like to come, I'd love to have you. And it's great that we're actually talking. And so, I'm a really big proponent of this. I've had a couple of clients who have been a little uncomfortable, but I believe that if you really believe in what you do and the fact that what you do can help other people in their jobs and we can all work together to be more successful, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you go to 100 people that you were connected to and send a message and invite them to a webinar so that you could tell them how to be better at their jobs? We can debate this later if you like. So let's talk about your content plan. Was there a question? I saw something come in. Oh, bye. Okay, so let's talk about building your content plan. Because marketing is a lot of work. And more than anything, it's work. It's legitimate work. And it's building your network and putting your messages in market consistently and often. And I get a lot of people who are like, yeah, we tried a campaign for a month and a half. We hired this marketing person to do this campaign for us. And we only got one meeting and it didn't work. It's like, well, yeah, you tried marketing for a month and a half and you didn't get leads from it because you only tried it for a month and a half. So what I've done here is I've built you a table for 2 months of content, assuming that you don't post at all today, and you're going to start posting once a week, okay? Ideally, you probably should be doing it at least twice a week, but we're going to take baby steps here. All right. So I have a best practice of varying what type of content I post on LinkedIn. I like authentic and casual, value adds with lead captures, like this webinar, for example, sales posts, and shared content. I'm going to give you an example of each, but I want to talk a little bit about how important it is to connect each post in with a pain point. So, for example, my Bev, who is a CEO of a Microsoft partner tech services company, her pain is that her website doesn't convert, and like she just can't get leads from it, or she doesn't get leads from it. She should probably get leads from it because it is kind of the gateway to her team. And internally, she's really wondering if she can even do this sales and marketing thing at all. And if she can't get on top of her marketing, will her business survive a recession? That's a paper swords pain, internal and external. So when I build my types of content plans, when I do a value add with lead capture, my posts are about helping people understand their website. Here's a checklist. Here's a framework for how we wireframe websites. Do this checklist? Does your website hit all of these points so that you can convert? Does it have the right call to action? Does it have the right buttons? Does it demonstrate the stakes? What's involved? What's at stake when they don't hire you, et cetera, et cetera. And so I want you to really think about and spend some time, if you haven't written down the internal and external pain. And if you need help creating these documents, that's what I do. And I'm happy to help you. So I'm going to show you the 4 types of content that we suggest that you post. The first is authentic and casual. I don't know if Mike made the call. Is he here? He is here. Okay, so one of the best authentic and casual posts I've seen in a long time was this post by one of my dear friends who runs Straight Path SQL. I saw he was registered and I was like, I got to use this. No one ever gets in trouble double checking something. How brilliant is this? So Mike runs a SQL Server managed service company. He also, because he can time travel or something, he also has a farm, which is bizarre to me. And like 4 children, I don't know how he does it, but he stops 1 to 3 times on his drive to check straps. And then he's got this beautiful post underneath about how it relates to working with clients and business strategy and how he mentors his team. This is a great authentic and casual post. This is a person who is thinking about leadership and thinking about his clients and his business, and then relating that to something that's outside of technology and SQL Server. I've done casual posts about where was the last place you got your last lead from, and it can be that easy. I saw a great post that got some really cool interaction of, we hear a lot of talk about what business books you like. What business books don't you like, right? So as you're thinking about things and as you're going through the pain and the struggle and the natural conflict that happens when you are growing as a professional and building your business, share that content with people on LinkedIn, because these are the types of posts, honestly, that get the most interaction and social shares with. And then you can follow up with sales type posts, and your posts will be shown to more people. It's just the way the algorithm works. As you get more interaction, LinkedIn will show your content more. So Mike, make sure that when you do these, they're brilliant and I love them, but make sure you're following up. The next post you should be sharing should be from Straight Path SQL about your managed service offering. Loved it. Keep posting this stuff, by the way. And more pictures of cute baby cows, because, who doesn't love that? So I've got on your worksheet, I have your first pain point. So you're going to write your pain point on there. Let's say your SQL Server performance is slow, or you fear that you don't know where your vulnerabilities are in your infrastructure, or you're not sure what the real estate market is going to do, and you don't know whether you should buy a house. I don't know. And then I want you to choose some topics for authentic and casual. So this is a really, really great leadership-based post that's going to speak to a CTO. So what's going to speak to your persona, and how can you just be really authentic about what you're thinking about? So the second is the value add. I just use this webinar as an example. When you're doing sale type posts, I like to post from the company and then share on my personal LinkedIn, because it matters to me how many followers PaperSword has. I'm trying to increase that. Please follow PaperSword if you haven't already. Because when we do eventually get into sponsored and ad content, you can only run ads and sponsored content to company followers, not to personal followers. So this is a lead capture. I have all of your email addresses. And I can send out a nurture campaign afterwards. I can follow up with you one-on-one to see how everything went. And this works whether it's a white paper or whether it's a video training series. I talked to a great new client that does like a dashboard in a day, and it's a loss leader, and it's totally free. What a great thing to give away for free. Just like something that adds a lot of value, and so is goodwill. Oh, and then the sales content. Guys, I don't know if you've seen this. I shared it with my team yesterday. This is the best sales ad campaign I have seen in our space to date. If you've seen Clive Owen try to open a package, and the copy is experience is everything. Know what your customers are feeling so you can turn frustration into gratitude. So that ad, that sales copy is really driving into that internal pain, right, of frustration. And how can you help your customers not be like completely and totally frustrated all the time? So I just want to talk about one thing, and that is the imposter syndrome that I get a lot of people talking to me about when they're saying that they don't want to post really salesy stuff on LinkedIn. You are allowed to sell on LinkedIn. You can. And in fact, I really believe that you should. Who would you rather buy from? The person who says, excuse me, I hate to bother you, Mr. Sir, but maybe if you only had just a little bit of time, maybe we could meet and do business together. If you've got time, I'd love to have coffee with you. Or would you rather buy from the person who absolutely believes that their customers, that you have a pain point, they know it, and you can solve it together? Who confidently says that we solve these problems, and if you have these problems, you should call me. I think that if you don't know what to do with your marketing, and if you're wasting a lot of money, you should hire PaperSword. I really truly believe that, and I really hope that you feel the same way about your business. And don't be ashamed if a couple times a month you post something that says, we do this, we do it really well, and if you're feeling this way, call me. But talk about your pain, your customer's pain. It is not about your managed service. It is about your customers' inability to get on top of their database performance, for example. If you need help with the sales content, you should call me. This is what we do. The next slide is sharing content. I saw David Watt yesterday. He works for this great company that I follow called Managed Methods, and they do security for school districts. And they, they keep students and parents and teachers' information safe. And they've got some great marketing too. And so they had this huge win where they increased their revenue 141% in the first half of 2019. that's a that's a lot of success. And if you see content like this from companies that you follow, share it, right? Say congrats. Let the companies who are doing great work have the spotlight that they worked so hard for. And that's really how we build a network and a community of people. David comes from the SQL Server community years and years and years ago, and so if he's here, congrats. But this was just a really great this is a really great opportunity for me to say, like, share the love, comment, and share other people's content if they're really great.